Hello, welcome to Mzansi Oz Diary. My name is Connie. I just wanted tonight to talk about this DEI, thing that the words that's been thrown around the American politics. That's actually a very important concept around, especially in your career, in the workplace, if you're someone who is black like I am or from other cultural background. And so the DEI, it's diversity, equity and inclusion. Okay, so that's what the term means, but actually we start with the diversity part of it. It sort of recognizes the unique differences amongst people, and that these differences can be about something as physical, like your race, your ethnicity, gender, age, sexual orientation, disability, religion, socio-economical status, and more. So that is the diversity. Okay. So with the equity, what we mean by equity, we mean that there is actually ensuring that there is a fair treatment. You are provided with a fair opportunity treatment and advancement of all people. Okay. It's also about identifying and also eliminating barriers that may prevent some groups from participating in our channel here. We talk a little bit more about workplace, business, and how you can succeed and improve your career in any industry that you choose to go to. So when we apply the equity, we actually spread our resources enough so we can support certain groups of people in the workplace. We're going to talk about mostly in workplace, but this concept can be applied in anything really. So when you go about inclusion, so the inclusion, we are creating like an environment that's welcoming to people, to all those diverse group we've been talking about, that word diverse, as the word diverse it means, we including them in our space so that they feel welcome, they feel respected and feel support and values. And so another way you can say, if you have like a group of you and you speak a different language. So for example, in South Africa, we speak about, we got 11 official languages in South Africa. I speak about 5 of them languages. So if you have another person that speak a different language, we'll to include that person in that conversation, we'll switch into speaking English, because we want to make sure that person can contribute, can feel welcome, and can understand what we're talking about. So we don't exclude them from the conversation. So that's what you would, as an example of, in that sort of scenario, but you can apply it in many aspects of your life. So these are very important concepts that, we know historically, people like myself who's black and African and other groups as well, Aboriginal and Torres Islander people. There's a lot of exclusion in the past around participation in the economy, participation in the workplace, and given opportunity, and so on. So now in the recent, that's why I have this screen here, because I think Joy from MSNBC is actually explaining how this DEI, that's the right side of the politics in America, busy trying to taught this concept around the nominee, the presumptuous nominee of the Democratic Party, which is Kamala Harris. So it is I don't know how I would feel about it. It looks like this time it's actually been turned into a negative thing. It can be, you can actually change it into a positive thing, but in this case, in this scenario, it's viewed as negative. So as I've explained to you what the words DEI means, you could it's very good, include everybody else. You get make sure people with diverse opinion and backgrounds, it can contribute to your to a cause, whatever industry you're in, because we know that some groups say, depending on the experience of who you are, you can provide a valuable insight into the company that you work for, into the role that you work for your experience, for where you come from, for what you've done in the past before you get into that role. So as much as the word is been used as if people are getting picked up there because of they just don't have skills, I don't agree, because I mean, if that is the case, many of us would be CEO, because then that means we'll be just so different because we're different, and then someone will just pick you up and make you a CEO of the company. If that is what this DEI means that you could just get in and rock up and be provided with the role. And we know that someone like Kamala Harris, so I'm not gonna pronounce her name a bit different. So for someone like Kamala Harris, she would have had to work hard to get where she is, as to actually become even a vice president of the United States of America. So it is this role wasn't actually handed over to her. She wasn't picked. She actually worked harder to get there. But in this scenario, it's been used as if like she was picked up at nowhere. She was just picked up somewhere and said, "Oh yeah, you look different. You kind of like we don't know how you look like. You don't look black. You don't look white. You don't look you look certain way. Let's put you there. You become part of the a ticket to go into the White House." So it's not like that. It would never be like that for us. We know that. For us, with the lived experience, it'd never be like that. So let's listen how they talk about this concept, and we'll talk about it a bit more. Okay?
Every position, but to have even women come forward and try to make salacious accusations about her and essentially undermine her and all of the voters who supported her. Yeah. She was selected vice president as one of the most qualified people to ever take that office, much more so than Dan Quayle. I don't even remember.
Yes, she was. She was elected as the most qualified, I always say, if you walk into an organization and you see someone who is black or some in that organization, you would know that person worked really hard to be there. That person probably may be the smartest person in that room, twice as hard to get to that little role that person is in. So nobody handed this position for her as a DEI pick, as the way it's been portrayed. It's a very positive, nice concept. We want to provide equity in our community. But in this scenario, from the right side of politics and in America, and also I'll come back to Australia, it's the same thing. Okay, so let's listen in again.
What he did to become vice president. So the reality is they are revealing, not just to us on this panel, but to every suburban voter in Philadelphia, to every woman who's ever worked at a job where they felt passed over for a position that a man received, or got the job and then had a question. And I'm not just talking about black women. I'm talking about women in general. I'm talking about anyone who has ever felt slighted. You can talk about working class people who they're based on class. They're told that they don't deserve.
Yeah, because diversity, like I said, it is you can apply for any person that's actually different. Like it doesn't have to mean like your race. can mean so many things. Socioeconomic status of who you are in that society that you come from. It's also, you are included in that. Okay?
Deserve to be there. Every person has a story about that moment when you were told you don't belong here. All they're doing is turning those voters into voters for Kamala Harris. And so just as a matter of strategy, it's absolutely stupid. It's also deeply offensive.
Yes, it is. It is deeply offensive because she earns her right to be there. I know, as a black woman, I know that she definitely didn't get there because someone handed over to her and thought, oh, what a nice thing, we can give it to her, this role. No, she worked harder and she was elected as well. So, to go into the Senate where she was before she went to the White House, she was elected. So this DEI thing that the right side of the politics are busy engaging in, it's likely to backfire. It's very insultive. It's a very insultive in how it's been used in this. It's a very important concept in modern workplace, modern life, and try to be very much more inclusive and include everyone into the workplace so they become valued and they can contribute positively. I mean, the most important thing is for us to educate ourselves about other people's culture, the history, the perspective. This is why I come here and I'll tell you a little bit about my culture, my South African culture, and how we do things, and also compare to how we would do things in Australia, and give you some perspective. It's nothing wrong to provide that differences, so people are aware there are differences and acknowledge and accept that differences, okay, without judgment in that, listening and reflecting and engaging with people from diverse background. It's something that we at the Thrive Pathway, we always on board for that, and we do not want to have people who are just a token, tokenism, the helped type of situation that I talk about. And it's when it would probably describe what this word in this context mean, DEI in this context. It's a very important thing in the modern workplace, but how it's been used, it can vary, okay? So creating that inclusive space whenever you are in your community, in your social setting, and allowing other people to engage and provide views that are different, it's not going to help to accept people of diverse background into an environment whereby you just want them to be a token and just be the yes man, or to be the help, what I call the help, whereby they just have no voice. There's nothing they can contribute in, rather than just for them to stand up there and be seen as diverse and not really having any substance. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with tokenism, diversity of tokenism, and that we see a lot in the left side of politics, the tokenism of diversity. Okay, so, and I'll come to that one as well because it's more relevant to Australia. So we'll get back to that, and in the next video we'll talk about how that come across in Australia. Recently we had similar situation, but quite different, but there's some similarity there. We'll just have a look. Okay, we'll come back. Let's have a look again.